Welcome back to Stories from Sector 10. This is WellArmedWithTacos, and this is another 40k story for you all. This game took place on Sunday, which for me was yesterday, and this video will be going up right alongside the other one. In this match, we played Gene Suit Occultists against Tau, with me playing my Gene Suit Occults. For some reason, I felt compelled to play my Gene Suit Occults yesterday. It is an army that I very much like. I do like playing them. Being my 5th army, they were the last army I picked up, and they're definitely a very different playstyle from anything I've gotten used to. So it is nice to play them. However, it is a little crazy to play them right now. It's definitely not smart because they're still stuck on an index instead of a codex. And the point cost differences between Codex to Index are very clear. So I knew I would be putting myself at a disadvantage, but the only armies I have right now that don't have such a disadvantage are Necrons and Tau, and I didn't feel like playing either of those at the moment, so I shrugged, said I'll play my cultists, and I'll go in expecting to lose, and I'll just try to have fun with it. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. I played against the other common Tau player, the one who likes a lot of suits. We played 100 PowerPoints, which is the most PowerPoints I've played in a while. I've played 100 before, but not in a long time. So it was a little different to play so many PowerPoints, but it didn't make it a particularly longer game. I called it end of turn 4. Like at the bottom half, end of turn 4. I didn't let him miss one of his turns. We called it start of turn 5, however you want to say it. I called it start of turn 5, just because at that point I had effectively lost. We played Eternal War, which means no cards, and the Eternal War we got was Seize and Control, which basically is 2 objectives. So objectives really didn't matter for this game. It just became table one another effectively, and I effectively got tabled. I brought 2 Lehman Russes, outkitted with what my Lehman Russes have on them. They have the Exterminator autocannons. I brought 2 Chimeras, outkitted with what they have. I brought 2 trucks with 2 units of Acolytes inside. And I brought 2 Armored Sentinels. I brought 2 units of Neophytes, one fully outkitted and deployed, the other not fully and in ambush. I brought a unit of Gene Sealers in ambush. I brought an Icon Word and the Primus as my HQs, both in ambush. And I brought a unit of... what's that called? Metamorphs in ambush. Everything I deployed was the 2 Armored Sentinels, the 2 trucks, the 2 Chimeras, and 2 Lehman Russes. And it basically looked like a Mad Max scene of all these vehicles side to side moving up the table. And to begin with, he said it was like he said later, like, it was very intimidating. He said he wasn't sure what he was going to be able to do to crack all those vehicles. He didn't have much trouble with it. And I had a unit of Neophytes hiding in a building for the sake of holding the one objective that was on the table. It was a 20-man squad, and they got wiped out in 1 turn eventually. I won't be going into all the little phases and all the details of everything that happened. Especially, like, I could tell you in the back line, eventually he had a Crisis Suit team come down with a bunch of drones. He had Ethereals, he had Strike Teams, he had Pathfinders, he had a Ghost Kill Suit, a Riptide Suit, he had Stealth Suits, obviously the Crisis Suits and the drones. He had a Devilfish with Breachers inside, and he had a regular commander and a Cold Star commander, because he likes... when I said there are particular Tau players whose eyes twitch when I don't field commanders, he's one of them. He takes every commander he can. For those wondering, yes, he took 2 detachments so he could have 2 commanders. But he took his standard stuff, and I tried to take what I consider to be a strong Gene Suit Occult list. I brought 2 Lehman Russes, which is as many Lehman Russes as I own. So I vehicled up as much as I can vehicle up. Again, 2 Chimeras, 2 trucks, and 2 Lehman Russes. That's more vehicles than I usually ever bring to any game. So I was trying to be competitive, and the 6 wound toughness 6 armored sentinels aren't a joke either. So I tried to be very vehicle-y, because I knew it was going to be the only advantage I had. And for turn 1, it was working. He went to go first. I won the roll-off, but then he seized the initiative, so he was going to go first. And his first turn shooting was very lackluster, which disappointed him. But my armor was doing good. My armor was doing very good. And then my turn 1, I actually hurt him back more than he hurt me, which was good. And then my turn 1, all of my ambushes trigger, because my army can still do that turn 1. In the new beta rules, nobody else can do the reserves turn 1, but I can. So all of my ambushes trigger. My Gene Sealers come in, but they don't get the good result they wanted. My Metamorphs come in and do get the result they want. And my other unit comes, my Neophytes come in and don't get the result they want. So I had one good success there. But they all come in, and none of them were like really bad rolls. The new ambush chart makes it hard to be bad. Like even on a 1 these days, as like the deployment zones get picked. So it's like, it's not really, there's not very many bad results in the chart anymore. There's just ones that are better than others, but there's not a bad result. There's no longer the infamous, oh, you roll the 1, come up on your own table edge, which basically is just, well, that unit's dead and useless. So that's gone, hallelujah. But that's been gone since the index came out. Which is good, but that, again, I'm rambling on about that, which, to be fair, is what this podcast is for. Yes, I like the new ambush chart more than I like the other one. Moving on. So all my ambushes come in, and things are looking good. The problem, my Neophyte unit doesn't declare charge, because they're not going to. I don't want them to. My Gene Sealers declare charge, and don't make it. My Metamorphs declare charge and make it, but suffer heavy casualties. Turn 2 is when the game basically flips on its head. And like turn 2, it starts dramatically turning, and by turn 3, it's done a complete 180. I start losing things. Turn 2. In turn 2, he kills my entire Gene Sealer unit. Only one of them ever saw close combat. He kills my 10-man unit of Neophytes. He kills my 20-man unit of Neophytes. He kills one of my Chimeras. He kills my entire Metamorph unit. Gone. He does not kill my Icon Word or my Primus yet. But right off the bat, that's some of my stuff gone. Turn 3. I basically move forward on him, do nothing, and then he proceeds to kill or blow up one of my trucks, completely devastates and cripples the other. He ends up killing most of my acolytes. And then by turn 4, he finishes up. By the time we called it at the end of turn 4, the only things I had left on the table were the 2 Lehman Russes, who were basically unscathed, but didn't have the firepower to win the game for me, and the Sentinels. My Primus was dead. My Broodlord was, not my Broodlord. My Icon Word was dead. All of my Gene Sealers were dead. All of my Acolytes were dead. All of my Neophytes were dead. My Metamorphs were dead. I had no infantry left. They were all dead. I called it. Now, I had 2 Lehman Russes left alive, both in their first bracket. Like I said, basically unscathed. So, that might sound really good. I called it because at that point, the only thing I had effectively killed was a strike team and an ethereal. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. That was it. I had taken out a couple of other strikes. Oh, no, sorry. I killed his breacher team, too. I killed his breacher team, a breacher team, a strike team, and an ethereal. I had done a couple of wounds to the other strike team. I had killed a couple of pathfinders. I had killed one stealth suit. I did wounds to his devilfish. But other than that, there were no complete unit kills. His Riptide was completely unwounded, aside from the wounds it did to itself. His Ghost Kill was completely unwounded, aside from the wounds it did to itself. His Cold Star Commander unwounded. His regular Commander unwounded. His Stealth team was complete. It was a full 9-man, and the only one that had died was one. I'm sorry, it was a 6-man, and one had died. Basically, I knew it was over. His stealth team had 2 fusion blasters in it. His commander, I think he had outkitted with 3 fusion blasters. It was at least 2. Obviously the Riptide is capable of killing vehicles. His Ghost Kill had the Cyclic Ion, which is good against vehicles. He had a bunch of anti-vehicle left, and my tanks are outkitted for anti-horde. A long time ago, and by a long time ago, I mean 7th edition, when the Genes to the Cult Index came out, I bought my infantry first and bought my vehicles afterwards. After playing just my infantry first alone long enough, I was able to discover what my weaknesses were for my army, for the Genes to the Cults at the time. We were very anti-elite because I could get in close combat and rip apart any armor systems. But we were extreme, like we had nothing against the Horde. We were no anti-Horde whatsoever. So when I got my vehicles, I equipped my Lehman Russes with the autocannons and the heavy flamers, and then my Chimeras took both heavy flamers for their 2 guns, and then of course I had the heavy starbursts and things like that. But I took as many heavy flamers as I could, and then for the big auto gun for the big main turn on the Lehman Russ, I took the Eviscerator autocannon, or the Exterminator autocannon, whatever. Do note, my cultist army cannot take the Punisher. I'm sure some people are saying, take the Punisher. My army can't. It's literally not one of our profiles. It might be available once our Codex comes out, but in the Index, it was never an option. It wasn't an option when I built the Lehman Russes in 7th edition either. So, Exterminator autocannon is the best I had. So they were equipped with those various weapons, and my 2 Sentinels had autocannons, by the way. So all I had left were a bunch of autocannons and flamers. I was not going to kill his command, all of his fusion stuff, all of his melt. There was no way it was not going to happen. So I just called it, because I don't, like, he's not going to kill my tanks in one turn, but all it's going to be is slowly delaying as he kills my giant 10 cans of uselessness that couldn't kill the rest of his army. The Lehman Russes were fine, but my cultists couldn't compensate. And when a 10-man unit of acolytes, who are toughness 3 with a 5-up armor save, cost 1 power point less than the goddamn Lehman Russ, it's like, it's rough. Like I said, I knew going in I was going to be at a disadvantage there, and I was. And it started showing turn 2, like, very quickly. Turn 1, it wasn't there. It looked like I might even win. By turn 2, it was like, no, it was practically over. By turn 3, it was objectively over. But yeah, I like my cultists a lot, but they definitely need their codex to get point cost reductions. And if the codex does not reduce their point costs even by 1 power point, that'll be an army I probably shelf for a bit, because they don't function right now at their current power points. Acolytes cannot be 1 power point per model. They just cannot be 1 PowerPoint per model. Yes, I know they all have hand flamers. I know they can take the heavy drills and cutters and stuff. I know they all have rending claws, and I know that they have access to extremely dangerous reserve tactics where they can even come up and charge depending on a die roll. I'm aware they have a possibility to be dangerous. But at toughness 3 with a 5-up armor save, they live 1 turn. Always 1 turn. Even with your best success, giving them the best weapons, and they come up and they roll a 6 so that they can charge. They get that 1 charge off, and then the next unit that shoots them will scoop them. It's not even that hard. It's not like you have to put a whole army into them. 1 unit can pretty much take care of them with any kind of ranged firepower. They're too squishy. The army has 0 durability. And that's fine in terms of a play tactic. I like that concept. It's different from the rest of my armies. It's a very Alpha Strike army. That's fine. But I'm paying too much to not have enough of a turn 1 Alpha Strike. Especially in this edition where I can't even lock things in close combat. It's too much. They cost too much. They do. They just do. So I'm looking forward to a point cost reduction when the actual Codex comes out. And who knows? Maybe they won't even get point cost reductions. You know what? I said I would shelf the book. I wouldn't even do that. I take that back, because even if they don't get point cost reductions, the army that comes out from the Codex will be objectively better for the same exact points than to the index. Because when the Codex comes out, they'll have the special rule options they get from being the various clans or whatever. They'll get those special rules. They'll probably get more special rules related to the army. I'll have new stratagems. I'll have new warlord traits. I'll have new psychic spells. I'll have new stratagems. So even if they're the same point cost, by the time the Codex comes out, it's objectively better. So, I don't know. Maybe if they don't adjust the point costs, the rest of the stuff will still make up for it. But for the time being, for what they are right now, they're too cheap. So, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys later, and then next week, if I play, it will probably be either Tau or Necrons again. Probably back to Necrons, to be honest. Probably back to Necrons. I don't like bringing Tau to the store because I step on the Tau player's toes. I don't want to do Tau on Tau. He even asked me when I brought the Tau in yesterday. He asked, "Oh, do you want to play a game?" And I told him no. I was like, "Oh, I see it." I'm like, no, I brought Tau today. I don't want to do Tau on Tau combat." He understood. But I hate to shut out options like that. Which is why I would rather bring an army that nobody's playing and then get guaranteed games. That's why I brought my cultists. I'm like, nobody plays the cultists but me. I wouldn't have it any other way. So, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys later. Take care.